Dear listeners, I will ask a question to which I will answer very briefly. But I have another video that I didn't make which will answer this question more practically. What should I do for God to speak to me? It's a pretty strange question, so what should I do for God to speak to me? And I took a few main ideas that I found in the Bible. And the first idea I would like to say is humble your nature, or at least that's what I understood. Humble your nature. In another part of the Bible, we find that you should humble yourself. Să te smerești. In another part, I found that you should walk humbly with the Lord your God. Now, you might say that each one refers to something else, but you should know that it's important. It's about the same main idea, to know how to humble your nature or to humble yourself. Pavel says to crucify your earthly nature. You see, we all know this as a theory, but you should know that we have to learn to put it into practice. It's not enough to just know it as a theory. There's a big difference between knowing something as a theory and being able to put it into practice so that God can speak to you. It's very painful to see Christians who are physically old but haven't grown spiritually, so they don't know the relationship with God. They even say that God doesn't speak to us anymore. You should know that it's very painful to hear something like that. Now, the question is, what can such a Christian teach us? Is he authorized by God to teach us? And I'll leave that to each of you to answer for yourselves. So, if he personally hasn't learned what he needs to do, or in his relationship with the Lord he hasn't reached certain teachings. Which ones? The Bible is full of them, but as I told you, it's not enough to know them theoretically. We also have to put them into practice. So I won't tell you much more. I'm going to play the video I got in which my brother Borota Ilie talks to us about a very nice topic, about the topic of time. But I recommend you watch to see what he did so that God would speak to him. Very interesting. Okay, I'll leave you to it. Listen to the video.
He said, "The question, have you ever wondered how God can take care of 8 billion people at the same time? How he can see what each one is doing?" I asked myself this question, and 3 years ago God answered me. And I'm going to tell you about an experience I had and that I want to share with you as well. I want to tell you that here in this area, about 3 kilometers from the border with Ukraine, where there is a war, as you know, and it is also connected to the war here. Why I follow what's happening there, I'm quite interested in it, and it's connected to the experience that I'm going to tell you about next. 3 years ago, I was in a church and people were singing, worshiping, many were kneeling. The presence of the Lord was felt very, very strongly. After people got up from their knees, God told me, "Sit down, get on your knees." I want to tell you that many times with our nature and our pride, it's harder. I said, "Lord, but now after everyone has stood up, should I kneel down?" And the Lord said, "Get on your knees." And then I listened and knelt down, and after I knelt down, God began to show me some things. I realized how God sees time. In fact, God showed me something. It went like this. We people were like in a river of jelly, and we were moving so slowly, like you would see some statues in a garden, like some statues. We were there and we knew we were moving, but practically we were. Practically standing still, but we knew we were moving so slowly that you couldn't actually see our movement. So we humans were like in a kind of gelatin. So time, as God showed it, was like a gelatin, and above this river of gelatin, God was walking. And God showed me that He has all the time in the world to do whatever He wants, meaning He sees every move we make. By the way, I also told the Lord, "Lord, if I do something once, I'm going to surprise you." I'm laughing because after the Lord showed me how we are in that river of gelatin in time. In fact, there's no way we can surprise God because actually we move so slowly. So, in the word of the Lord it says this: one day to God is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like one day to God. So even while I was there in that gelatin, I realized that I can't surprise God with anything. I can't surprise Him by doing something He doesn't expect, because that's just how He is. It's like having a statue in a room and spending a whole year thinking about what position to put it in. Should I put it on a cupboard? Should I put it on a table? Should I put it on the bed? So that's how God is with us. He has time to think about what to do with us. He has time. For example, if we go one way and God wants us to go another way, He just moves us a little, just a bit, and we don't even realize it, and we end up going in the direction He wanted. And while I was seeing this image, somehow I was coming from outside. I imagined that I was in Ukraine. A bomb explodes, and a piece of shrapnel from that bomb flies towards you in real time. It moves very fast. But God has all the time. If it's coming toward you, He has time to move it a bit so it flies past you. Why am I telling you this? Because with the war so close, as a man, as a father, as a husband, I asked myself, what happens in war? What happens if war breaks out in Romania too? And I realized that God is in control of everything. Absolutely nothing can catch Him by surprise. And during this time, people were singing in the church, and I felt like I was starting to drift away from that sound in the church. I started to hear the sound quieter and quieter, and I started to feel God wanted me to feel this on my body. Time, I don't know how to explain it to you. It was like that thick gelatin pressing down on me. I started to feel time pressing down on me. I felt it physically, so somehow I drifted away, but I was still there in the church, and I started to physically feel time pressing on my body. So let's not forget one thing. God really is in control of everything. We can't surprise God with anything. He knows what we will do. He can guide us one way or another as His children. And as I was telling you, 1,000 years for God are like a day, and a day here, a day on earth for Him is like 1,000 years in heaven. Our God is great. I was reading in the Word that He is almighty, that He is great, but I couldn't understand it with my mind. How can He take care of 8 billion people? How can He see each one? Yes, God can see each one, and He has enough time to take care of everyone. Be blessed.